Okay, in this video, I'm going to be predicting UFC Fight Night, Reiner de Ridder versus Brendan Allen. I think this main event sucks, even though it is a short notice main event. Brendan Allen stepping in on short notice. We couldn't have got anyone else for Reiner de Ridder. Brendan Allen getting shot up the rankings to fight Reiner de Ridder doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't add any hype to anything. It's really weird. He's coming off a win against Whitaker. He shouldn't have to go down to Brendan Allen, but we'll get to that. We'll start with Kyle Nelson versus Matt Frevola. We're going over just the main event, by the way. So, starting with the two people coming off of knockout losses, Kyle Nelson and Matt Frevola. The thing is, Matt Frevola is coming off of two really funny, like, over-the-top knockouts where he got completely slept by, like, crazy moves. One was a head kick by Benoit Saint-Denis, and one was a crazy knee by FRSCM. But both of those fighters are proven to be very good in the division. The thing about Kyle Nelson is he's not proven to be very good. He's coming off a knockout loss against Steve Garcia, who is good, but Steve Garcia is kind of just like tough. No, he's dynamic, but he's not as good as FRSCM or Benoit, in my opinion. Also, Kyle Nelson isn't as good as Matt Frevola, and I'm going to go with Matt Frevola. I think with Kyle Nelson, he's too simple. I think he's just throwing shots. He's not throwing anything weird. And Matt Frevola is really only getting caught with weird shit. And in terms of Matt Frevola, he's powerful. He likes to make the fight into a battle, an actual scrap, where he's going to throw weird shit and actually get into the pocket and throw. And he's going to have a lot more output. He's going to make it dangerous. He's going to mix in grappling a lot more effectively than Kyle Nelson, if he does mix in grappling. And overall, I think Matt Frevola, even though he's coming off of two knockout losses instead of Kyle Nelson's one, is going to be more effective in this fight overall, output-wise, damage-wise. Kyle Nelson doesn't have the output or the toolbox to knock out Matt Frevola, and I think that's the only way he's really going to beat him. So, I'm going to go with Matt Frevola to win. Maybe by knockout, because he is a powerful guy. Yeah, I'll go Matt Frevola by knockout in the second or third, chinning Kyle Nelson. I just think Kyle Nelson's too simple, and Matt Frevola has taken a long time to recover from those knockouts. And I trust he's been improving. And he's been around the game a bit. And I think he's going to beat Kyle Nelson. So yeah, next. Cody Gibson versus Edric So, Edric he's coming off of a loss to Raul Rosas Jr. And Cody Gibson, I don't know who he's coming off of a loss or a win to, actually. I think he's coming off a loss. All I know is that Cody Gibson is extremely output heavy, grappling offensive. He's a grinder. That's his whole game plan, his mindset. He's going to go forward no matter what. He's going to take a bunch of shots. He's not going to get chinned. Even by good fighters, he's not going to get chinned. And I'm not even going to try to say his name. Is not going to be able to chin him. So Cody Gibson is going to go forward. He's going to have the output advantage. And Aori Lang. I'm just going to call him Lang. He doesn't have the knockout power. He doesn't have the toolbox to knock out Cody Gibson whatsoever. Cody Gibson is going to have way better grappling in this fight. A ton more output, better cardio, and more finishing potential even, I would say. He might submit him. I think Raul Rosas Jr. was able to implement a grappling game plan pretty effectively against Lang. So, I'm going to go with Cody Gibson by grappling game plan decision. I don't think they're going to finish each other, but if anybody is getting finished, I think it's Lang. I don't think Cody Gibson gets finished, really. He has a good chin, and he goes forward with a lot of heart and grit, and I think that's going to win this fight against these two bums who aren't very good at fighting overall. But Cody Gibson, he does try really hard, and I think that's what's going to carry him to a win in this fight. He likes to really grit down and throw in the pocket and take down a lot of times. So I'm going to go with Cody Gibson. Next, by decision, Manon Fiorot versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. So the thing about this matchup is that Manon Fiorot is proven against really good fighters like Valentina Shevchenko. She lost in a decision to Valentina Shevchenko, but it was a close decision. Close. Valentina makes close decisions out of a lot of people lately. But it's still impressive because to get there And to get a close decision with Valentina Shevchenko, you have to be at least somewhat good. And Manon Fiorot is. She's very technical striker. She's solid at striking, and she can defend a takedown. Jasmine Jasudavicius isn't super great anywhere. And I think Manny Fiorot is going to be able to range strike her to a decision, like she's done against a lot of people. Like she's done against Erin Blanchfield, who's pretty good, pretty good overall. Manny Fiorot is like solid technically, and I think she's going to be able to utilize that, which is a feat in women's MMA, I would say. She's not going to get taken down. She's going to keep it on the feet. She's going to keep it rangy. She's going to land strikes more effectively, and maybe not with, just with more pop and better technique. And it's going to look better, and she's going to land low kicks and land shit on the outside. And she's going to do that for 3 rounds and beat Jasmine Jasudavicius pretty clearly by decision. I trust that in Manon Fiorot at this point in her career. And that's really all I have to say about that. Next, Marlon Vera versus Amin Zahabi. So this one is very interesting. I like picking Marlon Vera sometimes. He's been out for a very long time. The thing about Marlon Vera is he does not win fights unless he knocks the other dude out. But he's been doing that a lot in his most recent career. He gets beat. He gets outputted, I guess. He gets beat up pretty much for the entirety of the fight, not really throwing anything, really choosing his shots super sparingly. But when he does choose his shots, if it's someone that's not ready for it in front of him, like a Dominic Cruz, who else has he knocked out? Fuck. Or not even knocked out, but he'll rock a lot of people like Rob Font. He rocked like a shitload of times. He has a lot of power. He just throws very sparingly. And against someone who can dodge a lot of punches like Amin Zahabi and fights on the outside and is very elusive and hard to hit, it's not a good game. It's not a good matchup for Marlon Vera. Amin Zahabi is the distance striker of bantamweight. He's one of those archetypal fighters like Lerone Murphy, Amin Zahabi, Leon Edwards. There's like a shit ton of them that I'm trying to think of that all have the exact same style. The guy who just submitted Josh Emmett. Fuck, I forgot his name. Fares Ziam, brought him up earlier. Very rangy, technical fighters that can grapple effectively and offensively, but don't put themselves in danger and are pretty boring because of that. But they win fights because they're smart. Amin Zahabi is that fighter. He's going to win this fight. He's gonna have higher output. He's not gonna get caught by anything Marlon Vera has. Also, Marlon Vera is old. He's been out for a long time. He hasn't fought since the Sean O'Malley loss, which was a bad loss where he took a ton of damage. I don't trust Amin Zahabi to knock out Marlon Vera because I still think Vera's chin is like unbreakable. But Marlon Vera isn't going to knock him out, and he's not going to mix it up in the grappling. And if he does, I bet you Zahabi has better grappling. And it's just going to come down to a boring, probably super boring decision where Amin Zahabi edges out on strikes and wins clearly. Sadly, I would really like Marlon Vera to knock him out because I do like him. He's a cool dude who has good highlights, but I'm just going with Amin Zahabi to win by output striking on the range, in zone 3, if you will, and winning clearly, sadly, because I want Marlon to win. But that's really how this fight's looking. Because Marlon Vera he was getting beat by Dominic Cruz before he knocked him out. Rob Font was having a ton of success every single time he wasn't rocked. Sean O'Malley completely destroyed him on the outside. It's just how it goes for Marlon Vera if he doesn't knock him out. So yeah, hopefully he does. But Amin Zahabi doesn't get knocked out. He doesn't really lose fights very often. He's coming off of a win against Jose Aldo, which he did very well in, and gave Jose Aldo a lot of trouble in the 3rd round and almost finished him. Any like form of Jose Aldo, that is impressive. So I'm gonna go with him to win. Sadly. Next, Kevin Holland versus Mike Mallet. So I this one's interesting because I never pick against Kevin Holland. I don't think I've ever picked against Kevin Holland since I've started making videos, which is weird. But it's at the point now where I can't trust Kevin Holland to win. He was always very like, I thought he was always a good pick because he was super rangy, had good power, had decent finishing potential, and it had a size advantage over a bunch of welterweights. I liked that a lot. And his style was fun, and he was got into people's heads, and he was able to be effective in that way. But coming off of a loss to Daniel Rodriguez, which he pretty much broke his fucking chin. He rocked Kevin Holland and dropped him and almost finished him. That was the main thing I relied on with Kevin Holland against strikers, is that he has an amazing chin. He's not going to get knocked out, and he's going to have more chances on the feet to finish his opponent because he's always going to be there. He's never going to get finished on the feet. He got rocked by Daniel Rodriguez, so I can't trust him on the feet anymore against anybody with a little bit of power because Daniel Rodriguez is not super powerful on the feet. He's not a top level welterweight. Mike Mallet isn't either, I don't think, but he has power on the feet, and he also has Kevin Holland's biggest weakness by far, which I choose to ignore a lot of the time, which is his grappling is horrible. He has terrible takedown defense, and he gets caught up in submissions a lot. With that being said, Kevin Holland has a mean Darce choke, and he can rock opponents and latch them up into submission very quickly. He has good defensive jiu-jitsu, but he doesn't have good. If he lands on his back, he's done for. He's cooked. He's there for the rest of the fight, and it happens to him so often that I can't trust him to win against Mike Mallet. It's hard to also pick Mike Mallet though because of his loss against Neil Magny, which was just a really bad look. He was winning the entirety of the fight, and in the third round he makes a mistake. Neil Magny gets on top and full mount and beats the shit out of Mike Mallet and finishes him. And Neil Magny and Kevin Holland have similar builds, similar archetypes, but the big thing is Neil Magny has an amazing grappling game, which Kevin Holland doesn't. So even if a reversal like that were to happen, which it's not going to happen, Kevin Holland wouldn't be able to stay on top, I don't think. And he wouldn't be able to get there in the first place. So I'm going to have to go with Mike Mallet by grappling. And before the D-Rod performance, I would have picked Kevin Holland reluctantly, but I can't pick him. I don't think I can pick him again until he wins. Mike Mallet is good at grappling. He's a solid jiu-jitsu guy. He's a coach. He's a jiu-jitsu coach at American Top Team. And that one mistake against Neil Magny, who continues to prove that he's better than these young guys coming up, it's not terrible considering he was winning the entirety of the fight beforehand. So I'm going to go with Mike Mallet to win. He could catch Kevin Holland on the feet at this point. I don't trust Kevin Holland's boxing anymore to knock someone out. Mike Mallett's from Canada, so that brings him down a little bit. I really think this is a neck and neck fight, but Mike Mallett's grappling, I think that edges him out the win, sadly. By decision, Mike Mallet holding him down, maybe getting a submission at some point. I just really don't trust Kevin Holland's grappling game at all. So yeah, next. Reiner de Ridder versus Brendan Allen, the main event, the terrible main event that I hate. Reiner de Ridder should be fighting someone like Dricus du Plessis at this point. Kyle Barajo, Imavov, Israel Adesanya, Sean Strickland. Those are all sick matchups that I would want to see for Reiner de Ridder. Even Hamzat, that's an interesting matchup considering Reiner de Ridder's grappling game. Not Brendan Allen. He's coming off a win against Whitaker. And that's what I'll start out with. I'm going with Reiner de Ridder to win. I can't trust Brendan Allen to win a fight ever. But I'll start with Reiner de Ridder's his wins. Reiner de Ridder has a way better resume than Brendan Allen, even though he's been in the division a lot less time than Brendan Allen. He's coming off a win against Robert Whitaker. I'll say it again. And Robert Whitaker is former champ, mainstay of the division, beats everybody that's not fucking good. Reiner de Ridder, or Robert Whitaker, is the gatekeeper of middleweight top 3, 4, 5. He's the gatekeeper of the elite. You have to beat him to get there. Robert Whitaker beat Jared Cannonier. He beat Marvin Vettori. He beat Paulo Costa. He's beaten everybody. Everybody who's tried to come up. He would beat Brendan Allen. And I'm confident in that even today, he would beat Brendan Allen. Reiner de Ridder gave Robert Whitaker everything he could handle and more and was able to grind him out to a win. That's impressive to me. Robert Whittaker is a solid fucking opponent. Top contender, former champion. Brendan Allen's coming off a win against Marvin Vettori, in which he did not look good. He looked a little bit better than Marvin, but I would argue Marvin did way better than is expected of Marvin Vettori against any contender whatsoever. Marvin Vettori is not good, and he made it close with Marvin Vettori. I think Reiner de Ritter would smoke Marvin Vettori. That's just my opinion. And I do think Reiner de Ritter is sloppy as fuck, and I haven't picked him in any fight really up to this point. And I probably wouldn't pick him against anyone on the top of the rankings, to be honest. But I'm going to pick him against Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen has a good grappling game, but he's also stupid and doesn't know how to utilize it like super efficiently. Reiner de Ritter does. He has a bigger toolbox when it comes to submissions. He's more effective with his submissions. He's bigger. He has more effective weapons on the feet. His knee down the middle on the to the body is fucking lethal, and we've seen that multiple times now. He wrecked Robert Whittaker with it for all 5 rounds, and that was the main strike he landed. Pretty much the only strike he landed with any like super big effectiveness, and it wrecked Robert Whittaker badly. And he KO'd Bo Niggle with it, and I think he's going to land against Brendan Allen, who doesn't have the movement of Robert Whittaker. He doesn't have the technical ability on the feet of Robert Whittaker. Robert was able to catch Reiner de Ritter and rock him badly and drop him, but he wasn't able to finish him. And Brendan Allen won't be able to finish him either. And if he does rock Reiner de Ritter and tries to go for a takedown, I could see him getting reversed, ending up on top like a dumb retard and getting a finish by ground and pound. This is the battle of the dumb retards, the weird dumb retards. And Reiner de Ritter's the bigger, dumber retard. Maybe not, and he's a bigger retard, but he's not the dumber retard. I'm going to stop. And he's going to win this fight because he's better in every way and more effective and has proven that against opponents that Brendan Allen wouldn't have a shot against. That's my thesis statement there. So yeah, I'm going to go with Reiner de Ritter to win this main event. Also, he's had more of a camp. He had a longer camp to prepare. Brendan Allen is taking this fight on short notice. Reiner was in the middle of a camp against Anthony Hernandez, which is a super pressure heavy cardio grappler, and Brendan Allen is as well. So it's not like a big switch up. He's not fighting Izzy on short notice. So yeah, Brendan Allen's dumb. Reiner de Ritter's big. He looks like a toddler, and he's gonna smoke him. He's gonna smoke Brendan Allen, I think. Either destruction over 5 rounds, or I think he finishes him. He can finish him to a knee to the body. I think it's going to be a ground and pound finish, to be honest. You're not getting Reiner de Ritter off you in full mount. And I think Brendan Allen's one to kind of give him, like, end up in full mount on bottom in some dumbass way. So I'm going to go with Reiner de Ritter. And those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. I will see you soon.